Hello, my friends. I'm Jeff Beveridge, Project Management and Leadership Trainer with Corner Post Management Experts, and I'm here today with another delicious, refreshing knowledge snack to feed your appetite for learning and fuel your appetite for learning. Today's topic, we're going to be looking at organizational structures and their effect on the project environment. Now, to be fair, there's a lot of nuance we could get into related to organizational structures, but we're really going to be talking about the big three organizational structures and what they mean for the project manager and the project environment. So we're going to be talking today about functional organizations, project-based organizations, and then the hybrid kind of matrix organizations. So starting over here with a more traditional functional organization. I think this is what we commonly think of when we think of a business, right? CEO and leadership team at the top, and then the business is organized by the type of work being done, by the different functional units within the organization. So in our example, we've got VPs of development, sales, HR, finance, and so forth. And they lead groups that the individuals, the employees within those groups are dedicated to performing that type of work. And what we commonly see in the functional organization is when a project needs to be run, that project team is assembled within one functional unit. And this is where we often run into maybe challenges where we hear about, oh, we're too siloed here in our organization. The different functional units don't talk to one another. So this is your traditional, as we said, functional organization where projects and project teams exist within one unit, and then if anything, maybe they're identifying stakeholders to their projects from these other business units within the organization. Coming over to the other side of the spectrum, we'll talk next about a project-based organization. So in a project-based organization, rather than being aligned by functional units, what we see here is that we've got different project teams. Project manager leading the project team, project manager 2 leading project team 2, and so forth down the line. So the project teams, instead of being assembled as kind of standalone activities within the broader context of a functional unit, the team exists for the project. When the project ends, that team together as a unit will move on to the next project, and it will remain a project team. So really the whole organization and the work of the organization is arranged by projects. I think what most people are most comfortable with or most familiar with in today's work environment is what we would call a matrix organization, where we really see a little bit of both. So we've got the different functional units, and they do their different work aligned to that particular functional area. But we also might have a project or program management office. They are managing all of the project managers within the organization. They're kind of leading or directing or at the very least supporting project activities across these different functional units. And now we see that when we assemble a project team, we often do so cross-functional across these different functional units. So we'll have a project manager from the PMO, we'll have somebody from marketing, we'll have somebody from sales, from engineering, from development, from finance, and so forth. So in a matrix organization, we would see both the existence of a project manager and a functional manager, and they're kind of balancing power between them. Now, within matrix organizations, we want to consider a couple different types of matrix. We've got what we call the strong matrix, which is more aligned with a project-based organization. So what we're saying there is that the project manager maybe has more authority than the functional manager when it comes to decisions over resources, when it comes to decisions over budgets and authority, decision-making, right? We could have the opposite of that would be a weak matrix, more closely aligned with the functional side, where now we're saying that the functional manager has a lot more authority, has a lot more spending power and so forth when we're talking about money. The project manager is more of that coordinator role, tying it all together, but secondary, or perhaps, I won't say reporting to, but maybe less influential than your functional managers who really control the purse strings and control the decision making of the organization. We would call it a balanced matrix if it really is kind of an even split between the two. And to help us remember these different matrix types, one easy way to do is think about who named these different matrix types, right? It was clearly a project-based organization, maybe like PMI or the authors of the PMBOK guide who decided, okay, we are project managers. So for us, a more project-based organization would be that strong matrix, weak matrix from a project management standpoint. Again, that is going to be more on the functional side. And to tie this all together, I just wanted to give a couple of examples of different organizational structures, and you might be familiar with some of these examples because I'm going to use some of my favorite cop shows, some of my favorite procedural dramas from TV, and talk about the teams that we have on those programs and how they work together. So first, my favorite, everybody's favorite, the top of the top, the functional organization that is Law and Order, right? The original Law and Order. Lenny Briscoe, Jack McCoy, right? All of our old favorites. On Law and Order, you've got the cops and you've got the lawyers, right? Half of the show is about the cops, about 30 minutes on cop stuff, solving the crime, figuring out who should we arrest. Then the remaining 30 minutes of the show is the lawyers. You have that handoff from the cops to the lawyers, and the lawyers prosecute the case. They do work together, but it's very siloed in terms of organizations, right? There's the investigation, that's one project, and the police do that project. Then there's the prosecution, that's the lawyer project. There's a handoff between the two. So that's your traditional functional organization. For the project-based organization, and again, we'll go all the way to the other end of the spectrum, the project-based organization might be one more like Criminal Minds. This is that show where they get on the airplane, the team with Joe Mantegna and everybody, they fly all over. The team works together to solve different crimes. There are different functional areas of expertise on the team, but those team members remain the same from project to project. So in their case, from crime to crime, it's the same. Where they got the nerdy stats guy, they've got the profiler, so forth. So the team stays together, and the team moves from project to project. And the value of this is that they work well together as a team. So many, if you watch the show, if you watch any shows like this, right, so much of the emphasis is on how they work together as a team. And we can never break up this team because we work too well together. Doesn't necessarily matter the type of work that they're doing. Their value is that they're strong as a team. And then finally, matrix organization, kind of a combination of the two, functional and project-based organizations. Another one of my favorite shows, Bones, right? You've got the cops, you've got the lawyers, you've got the scientists. Sometimes the FBI is more involved or less involved. Sometimes the science team from the Jeffersonian is more involved or less involved. Sometimes the lawyers are more involved or less involved, depending on the needs of the particular case. In our situation, the particular project, right? So they can pluck from these different functional units as necessary, maybe under the direction of a guiding project manager. So, functional organizations, where the organizational structure, the leadership structure, and the reporting structure is aligned by functional unit. Project-based organization, where all of those reporting and hierarchy structures are aligned by project teams, and then a matrix organization where you do have the opportunity to draw from the benefits of both. Got it? Excellent. If you want to learn more, you can always visit us at cornerpostmanagement.com. Corner Post Management experts. We want to deliver you more knowledge snacks. We want to deliver you more knowledge feasts. And if you enjoyed this video, if you found it helpful, we'd love for you to like it, follow it, share it, subscribe on whatever platform you're watching this video on. Again, check us out anytime, cornerpostmanagement.com. We'll see you soon.